Yeah, looking at my last video's thumbnail, it's official. I need to just like suck it up and wear makeup when I film. Hello everyone, my name is Sydney and today I'm finally going to do another book review. It's gonna be a little short and sweet because the thing I am reviewing over is a little bit short, but it's not so sweet, and that is All My Sons by Arthur Miller. This is a play and it's pretty heart-wrenching, I'm not gonna lie to you. Basically what this play is about is just that Joe Keller and his wife Kate and their son Chris all live in a somewhat semi-happy suburban American home right after the end of World War II, and by right after I mean like 3 years after the end of the war. And they have a sadness in their life that is the loss of their son Larry, who died during the war. Joe Keller is a businessman and he wants to pass the business on to his son, but there is something suspicious that the whole neighborhood kind of knows about with the Keller family that they're just trying to ignore, and the whole play is just the unraveling of it. I had to read this for school, I have to read a couple more plays, and I just finished reading The Metamorphosis, so I think I'm going to have like a whole unit on school reads that I just need to review. So here's my next one. So if you haven't read the play, leave now. I'm saying that as a courtesy, but I'm not gonna stop you. So here we go. Even though it's this thin, my annotations were so heavy. Like, why? Actually, I do know why, because my teacher is grading me on annotations. Okay, so first of all, there's a little piece of mascara that's getting stuck to my bottom eyelid, so basically a little background on this story is there's a character named Anne who Chris is planning to marry, but Anne is actually the ex-fiance of Larry, the dead brother, so yes, Chris is trying to poach his dead brother's fiance. I know, shady. But Anne's father and Joe Keller worked in a machine shop during the war and they produced almost everything, but the main thing that they produced that is, you know, talked about in this book were parts for planes that were being flown in the war. So this whole time their son is dead. Not all of them know how he died. One person knows how he died. And when they find out that 21 pilots crashed in the war because of faulty plane parts, Joe and Steve Devers is the name, their business and they fell under attack, as in probably gonna go bankrupt or go to jail or get in some serious trouble. There was a phone call that Joe Keller made with Steve Devers to say, hey, you say this and then I'll take the fall right behind you. So then Steve Devers takes the fall and then Joe chickens out, leaving Steve, Anne's father, to a prison sentence that he shares equally with Joe Keller. You don't know that right off the bat, you have to learn that. There are 3 main revelations in this book. I made a note of it in here, it wasn't in Act 1. I literally said reveal number 1. Okay, so the first reveal in the play is that Joe Keller was never sick. It talks about how he was sick the summer that the faulty plane parts were made and that everything came out and that he didn't go to work that day. But Joe always talks about how he was never sick, he's hardworking. It's the lie that people start to catch on to, because like, was he sick? Or was he actually at work? Like even the wife slips up talking about it. She's like, oh, I mean the flu when he was sick during the war. Reveal number 2, which got me, was that Joe Keller anticipated the problem and the mother knew the whole time. This whole play, we have the mom refusing to believe that Larry is dead, and she just sounds like an absolute maniac for it. People don't understand her, they're trying to convince her that no, you have to believe that your son is dead. The mom refuses to believe though, because she knows that if she accepts that Larry is dead, she is accepting the fact that her husband killed his own son. So she's just absolutely refusing it, denouncing the statement, not going to do it because she can't live knowing that a father killed his own son, and she was caught in the middle of it. And then reveal number 3, which was a doozy. Everyone has a little piece of the truth that everyone else doesn't know throughout this story. Mom has the fact that her main belief is so that she doesn't have to decompose inside, even though she kind of knows the truth. Joe Keller's little bit that, you know, he anticipated what this was gonna do, that he had time to go back and fix the problem before the parts were sent out and these 21 pilots were killed. Then we have Ann Devers, and My English teacher was talking about how she is just the one that you pity the most out of this, because she's practically crucified her father, sent all the blame on him, when Joe Keller really messed up. But she comes in, she's trying to convince Kate Keller, the mom, that you have to believe that your son is dead. You have to. And she uses her last card to play, and it's a letter that Larry wrote her the day he died. And it's about how he saw the newspapers with the headlines of the business failing, and that his father and Anne's father were probably going to go to prison, and he just couldn't live with it. So he wrote Anne a letter saying, "Don't wait for me, live, I'm sorry," and he killed himself in the war. So yes, Joe Keller did kill 21 pilots, but none of them were his son. The mistakes that he made in killing the 21 pilots is what ultimately killed his son, Heavy. And there's a line in here that, gets the title of the play. The mom says, "You're so foolish. Larry was your son too, wasn't he? You know he'd never tell you to do this." I think go to prison is what they're talking about. And Joe Keller says, "Then what is this if it isn't telling me? Sure, he was my son, but I think to him they were all my sons. And I guess they were. And it's talking about how Chris is finally going to take him to prison to be accountable for his mistakes, and that even though he didn't kill his son with the faulty plane parts, all those people were his brothers, which technically made all those soldiers his sons. He killed America's children in that incident. And Chris earlier throws a line in his face about, "Do you not have a country? Do you not live in this world? You're not even an animal. Even an animal doesn't kill his own. What are you?" It's a rough one to get through. It's definitely not a happy ending. And you can kind of tell that because nature reflects is what is going to happen in the play. The scene literally starts out, it's fall, the leaves are coming down, it's giving way to the cold weather, and there's a tree planted. Something's gonna wither, something is gonna die. There's also the whole concept of money in this play. Arthur Miller was labeled as a communist, or believed to be a communist, or thought of. Went before HUAC? Is that what it is? HUAC? He went before a committee because he was accused of being a communist. Accused, there it is. All throughout this play you see the neighbors come in, and I guess they're just little sprinkles of hints about what's going to happen and what's the root of the problem here, and that is money. And that is what a communist believes, because there's no private property, it's all by the government, money corrupts. Because you have people like Sue and Frank and Jim and Lydia. Lydia's just kind of going about her business, the happy little wife. She's sweet, she doesn't really care about money that much. Frank is all about astrology and zodiac and stars and saying what's the favorable day. He and Lydia are the pair that aren't really caught up in money, and they're more joyful because of it. Sue and Jim, however, Sue is very nitpicky about money and how much her husband makes, because Jim is a doctor and he wants to heal people and cure diseases and do all this good stuff, but because it doesn't pay well, he can't do it, because first of all his wife is on his head, and second of all just because it's not a well-mean to provide for his family, so he doesn't get to do the things he loves because he's too busy trying to rake in money. And here we are, Joe Keller went to all these absolutely unnecessary means to try and make money for his son and for the business, as if the business was his whole world, but the means to get that money came at the price of killing people and ending up in prison and ruining a marriage, and 2 marriages, let's be real, because Anne didn't end up with either brother. Independent woman. There's also a mention about the garbage can. I always have to go back and read how they set up the stage, because the mention of the garbage can and Joe Keller being I don't want any garbage in this house, and how I think someone's potatoes accidentally got thrown away. They're throwing away the truth because they have something to hide. Everyone sees the truth, sees the garbage piling up, but nobody mentions it because they don't want to deal with it. You don't want to deal with taking out the trash. You don't want to deal with the truth, but the truth is eventually going to come and get you, because the truth stinks, just like garbage. And just along with that, the parts where they're having these really deep conversations, and then out of nowhere someone's like, well, we can have a swell time and go here and bring some champagne and food and yada 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 and party. It's just the more they do that, the bigger the problem gets because they're pushing it away, and it's just growing and growing and growing until it just explodes. And here we are. A son is dead. 21 pilots are dead. A father is dead. The neighborhood's a mess. A man is in prison. 2 marriages are no more. We have a bereaved mother. Like, oh my gosh. Nobody wins in this play. And it's just really sad because there was also that part where there was Larry's tree planted in the yard. In the beginning of Act 2, it says that they cut it down. They said that it was struck by lightning, but they cut it down. That's another piece of proof that they're trying to push the truth away. They're trying to, forget that any of this happened. There was the line towards the end of the play. Chris was talking to his mom. She's like, the war's over. We shouldn't have to deal with this. And he's just like, then who even was Larry to you? Just some stone that fell in the water? Like, is he even a person anymore? Can this please focus on my face? Overall, I think this was a wonderful play. It was really sad, but I think it was necessary. I would give it like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Maybe a 4, just because it's school and sometimes I'm not really motivated to read it, but we did it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below so that I can make more videos for more people who watch. I'm going to do a whole series on school books. Let me know in the comments what books you want me to review. I have one on Frankenstein and I have one on Gatsby so far. Once more, my name is Sydney. I make new videos every Thursday, and until next time, bye.